We'll now come to essay part. Okay. So in both of my attempts, I got well above average marks in essay. And the reason is that I did essay in a very, very systematic manner, as in very systematic manner. And I did this completely by myself. So I do not know what goes in the coaching industry. I can only tell you what I did. So step number one, I took all the essays that have been asked in 2018 or 19 because this is when they transition completely to philosophical topics. Uh, I took all those topics and I asked ChatGPT to categorize them. Right? So it told me that these are the particular categories. These are women-specific issues. These are related to environment. These are related to leadership, and then something related to happiness, joy, etc. These were the broad categories. Then I went to ChatGPT or Gemini or any other AI that you use. And I put up those particular categories and I asked it to find many, many stories from Indian mythology, from Sufi stories, from Christianity, every religion and every other possible story. And it would tell me what the story is and it would tell me where it would possibly fit in. This is a story I very oftenly use. It is about Nasruddin and the lost key, where a person is trying to look up for a key and he lost the key inside his house, but he's searching it outside under the street lamp because there the lighting is very good. Somebody asks him, comes and asks, why are you searching for the key here? And says, because the lighting is good. This is something that very frequently can be used in topics like happiness. Why are you searching for it outside when you lost it inside? Something like that. So I had a compilation of 15, 20 stories, such. I would use those stories and only those stories for the introductions and the conclusions. And I knew which story would fit in which topic. Right? And I also asked once I write down the story, how to very smoothly merge it with the topic because that is very much necessary. You write a story, you just cannot jump on the body points. You need a very smooth transition. So I'd write a story and then I'll ask ChatGPT, how do I transition from the story to the essay? It told me that. So I use all that. So I would write a story, I'll very smoothly transition to the essay body, and then I'll tell you what I did write in the body. So this was my introduction and the conclusion. I had then pre-prepared for everything. And because we get a choice in essay, easily be able to find one essay that fits into this framework, right? And that is all you need. We'll come to this later. Okay. For the essay body points, I did not rely at all on what usually people do is that GS knowledge. We write all the social, economic, political dimension because we write that in the GS papers. In my opinion, that is very boring, and the examiner is already frustrated with all the essays that previous people have written. He just wants to get done with it. So I gave him something new to look at. What I would write is some evolutionary principle. Example, our ancestors who tried to look for more safety, better social groups, they survived, and our ancestors who were just lazy just did not survive because the environment was so hostile. So this has evolutionarily made us people who seek more safety, more resources. So this is a view why we are unhappy usually because we are seeking more, and that is built into us evolutionarily. Similarly, we have this fight or flight response to everything. Humans cannot do anything for a very sustained period which does not provide them something to live for. Example, you cannot go through college 4 years with systematic studying because that is not how we are built. Right? Our ancestors would fight a mammoth, kill it, and then would sleep for 2 days because they were well fed. So this is how we are built. We would work very hard on something. Like you'll go after listening to me, you'll study for 2 days very hard, and then you'll just give up. This is how we are built. So I use these points. Then biological perspective, what a hedonic treadmill is, or when you do exercises, there are tears in your muscles, and then when they build back, you are built back stronger than what you were earlier. So this is something that I use in resilience. So in a resilience story, I'll tell a biological perspective. This is something that when examiner will look at, he'll like, oh, this is something new I haven't read in earlier copies. I'll also incorporate some psychological research. from a very famous researcher, Daniel Kahneman, who has this book, Thinking Fast and Slow. So his principles like loss aversion, breaking point, some mathematical theories and miscellaneous. Right? Where did I get all this from? I'm no genius. I haven't studied everything. This. I went to ChatGPT. I gave again all the topics to him, and I asked, give me certain theories from biology and everything else that I can reuse across these points. So all I had were 10, 15 such theories. That's it. I use these 10, 15 theories in all the essays that I wrote. This is all the content that I had for the essay. I did not think originally. Earlier I used to, but then I found out that it doesn't work. The time is limited and you cannot think originally in every essay. And if something goes wrong, it will go wrong very bad. So rather do it very systematically. Find a certain set of theories that are interesting, that you can relate to, and use them to write the essay's body points. So pick up anything, something say loss aversion, that if somebody gives you 500 rupees, you'll just keep it in your pocket. But if somebody takes 500 rupees away from you, you will think about it for a day. Right? So we tend to be loss averse, we humans. So I will use this theory and I'll write one page over this. I'll use some other theory. I'll use or write one more page over this. So I collected all these theories from ChatGPT. So I had these theories that I would reuse in every essay. So this is one of my scribbling for essay that I was going to write. There's no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. And all you are gonna find is something related to concept of time, capitalism, one purchase away, how anything that is measured stops us giving joy or anything. Nothing of in here is social or economic or political. Everything here is related to some theory that I have described. Yes. This is a completely philosophical essay written in philosophical style. There's nothing concrete about this. And it is easy to do if you have these theories. So the gist is you do not necessarily need to use the GS knowledge, and people will have so much more GS knowledge than you that if they come to writing about it, they'll write 100 pages on everything. They know so much. I did not know so much. I had to find out my own path. If you wanna find out these topics and you wanna get interested about these, this author Yuval Noah Harari has very good talks on YouTube, 30, 35 minutes. If you watch any of his talks, you'll get certain ideas. And then I'll come to the use of AI, because I was a software engineer. I extensively used AI. So half of my preparation was with AI.